Hello, this is me, Stephen Flynn, with another little explanation video of a blog post. This one for blog post 5, I'm discussing 3 different articles I found to help, support my the different 3 elements I'm analyzing. The 3 elements I'm analyzing are the unique player base, the community of the Smash Bros. Games, the game mechanics, and the character roster. It's like the selectable fighters. And the first article I found helped kind of like support explain the Smash community better. It was called Super Smash Bros. Melee Performances Community Survival by Nicholas James Winger. Now this one mainly just analyzes Melee, but I think the points that it brings up can be applied to all the other games as well. Melee is kind of just like the best example for it. Now it explains that Melee's competitive community has survived a lot longer than some of the other games, and it's a very dedicated fan base, kind of surprisingly for the type of game that it is. Like for example, they kind of host their own tournaments and stuff, which you don't see a lot of other games doing that. Well, maybe you do, but not to this scale, So Winger kind of attributes it to 3 main factors that kind of separate the Smash community and really show why the Smash community is more important, or important in general. These 3 factors he describes are the unique gameplay mechanics that Melee had, and I guess any other Smash game. Melee's just, the game mechanics are a little bit more out there. The communication within the community, and the identities that form between the players and the characters. Now, the gameplay mechanics are pretty easy to see, as Melee and the other Smash games are pretty technically advanced. There's a lot of different moves you can do, and it takes a lot of time to master the game and certain characters. And then the community. There's a lot of communication between the Smash communities, and this has been going on for years now. Probably ever since Melee, the communication really ramped up. So, for example, if new techniques are found, or new strategies, or new character buffs or mods, the community often shares them pretty openly. And this was especially true for Melee, as you get a lot of prestige for coming up with a new technique or kind of move you could do. And there's a surprising number of them, actually. And then the identity. So the way the Smash games are set up, where you pick a character out of a large roster and you're just kind of set up to master that character, it really helps gamers form kind of this unique identity with that character, and they just feel a little bit more connected to the game that way. And I think that kind of just showcases why the Smash communities are so, diehard and the fan base is so strong. The next article I found was a case study in learning metagames, Super Smash Bros. Melee, by Julian Codsey and Adrian Vetta. Now, this kind of helps illustrate the roles that the character roster plays in the game. I did mention this a little bit before, but they kind of use these graphics and these models to show the different advantages / disadvantages various characters have against each other, and then they have different models to show which ones actually get played. And kind of surprisingly, it's not always the most advantageous characters that get played. I think this kind of shows that players like to sometimes pick a character that's not as popular, just to carve out their own space within the game. And you also see this within the tournaments as well. Every once in a while, there'll be a Melee tournament where someone wins with characters considered mid-tier or not that viable tournament-wise, like Captain Falcon, for example. And I don't know, it really boosts the character's popularity. Each character has their own kind of unique play style. So, yeah, I think that just shows that when you add more characters to the games, like the later games do, it just changes up the number of combinations of fights that can happen, and the number of ways, players can form their own kind of unique play style. All right, and then the last article I found was Virtuosos on the Screen, playing virtual characters like instruments in competitive Super Smash Bros. Melee. Now, this title is pretty self-explanatory for what the article is about, but it compares the use of Smash Bros. Characters to performative instruments. As, each character is different in their own right, and it takes a lot of time to master and a lot of technical skill. And some moves you pull off, you have to be frame perfect, so you have to have great timing, and the timing can vary for each character. I use wave dashing technique in Melee, where you air dodge a second after you jump, and you have to do it on a certain frame, and that frame is different for each character. So I think that just goes to show how advanced the mechanics are, or they can be in these Smash games, and that when a game kind of changes up certain mechanics, like the switch from Melee to Brawl, Like it affects a lot more of the game than people kind of would think from an outside view. All right, well, that's it. Thanks for listening. See ya.